Welcome, everybody, to the Eaton Army podcast. I'm your host tonight, Pete Robertucci. We are coming to you live on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Kick.com. I think it's May 14th, season 2, episode 17-ish. I don't know, whatever. But if you guys missed the jam session on Tuesday night, you missed out. We were partying over here. Impromptu jam session. Was it Tuesday night, Russ, or was it Monday? I can't remember. It's all running together on me. Man Crush Kelly finally made it in the house. Good to see you guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, guys. We need all the help we can get. And since the last time we were on, I'd like to thank voiceover by Matthew, VCFP, Opie, and Tom Bryce for your resub. It keeps the lights on, makes us all happy, makes Russ happy when we get more subscriptions, I think. Guys, don't forget to support Miss Terry with her prepper-related coloring books. You can find them on Amazon, and Botrix will be scrolling it through. You know how it works. As well as Russ Sawyer, the man behind the scenes, has his second book out, The Hanging Creek Chronicles. Keep your eye in chat. Again, we support the tribe. It's what we do. Man, it is going off. No, Pete's not late. I'm right on time. Kelly, nice try. Nice try, though. Listen, tonight we're going to be talking about Lee Zeldin, the head of the EPA, roasting Congress lady from Connecticut. That was funny. Also, in New York City, they released a mentally ill guy that decided he was going to throw a man into the New York City subway. Actually ended up killing the guy. We're going to talk about that. The United Arab Emirates and Saudi were attacking Iran through the ongoing escalation of the wars, which we just finally figured out. More anti-Semitic rallies in New York City and a mass shooter in Massachusetts. How could that possibly happen? But first, we're going to do our weekly educational moment. We're going to talk about the Iranian war a little bit, with some potential broader consequences, not for us in particular, but for China. Have you ever heard of the Malacca dilemma? Raise a hand inside of a chat. The Malacca dilemma. Have anybody ever heard of that? Yeah, well, we're about to learn a little bit about it right now. President Trump's push to pressure Iran through the Straits of Hormuz blockade may be doing far more than targeting Tehran's nuclear ambitions. Two things can be true at the same time. Some analysts actually believe that this conflict is exposing major global trade vulnerabilities and placing enormous strategic pressure on China. Let me explain. China calls it the Malacca dilemma, a scenario where disruption at key maritime choke points could cripple its oil supply, trade routes, and economy almost overnight. China appears to be taking this threat seriously as well, investing heavily in pipelines, ports, rail systems, and alternate shipping corridors designed to bypass the Straits of Malacca entirely. As tensions rise across the Middle East, many now believe the battle over Iran may also be tied to global energy dominance, trade control, and the future balance of power between the United States and China. The clip I'm about to show you breaks it down pretty good, so let's watch it real quick.
China is the world's largest factory, but every factory has a power cord. Today, we map the hands that are currently hovering over the plug. China imports over 11 million barrels of oil every single day. That is 70% of their total consumption. But look at the geography. 80% of that lifeblood, the fuel for their entire manufacturing-dependent economy, must pass through this 1.5-mile-wide neck of water. The Strait of Malacca. This is China's Malacca dilemma. While the world watches the South China Sea, the real kill switch is right here. This is India's Andaman and Nicobar Command. In a situation of war, India doesn't need to fight a fleet in the Pacific. They just have to sit here and turn the key. This is a distant blockade that could slow the Chinese dream massively. This morning, April 13th, 2026, the US officially began a blockade of Iranian ports. Beijing's response? Total condemnation. Why? Because the US just proved that freedom of the seas is a polite fiction. If Washington can choke Hormuz to punish Iran, they have shown they can choke Malacca to paralyze China. The precedent is set. The free sea era is dead. Beijing is frantically building a silk cage to escape this maritime trap. Gwadar, Pakistan. They're landing oil here to pipe it over to China. It's the ultimate bypass, skipping the Malacca noose entirely. Myanmar. A direct pipeline landing in the Bay of Bengal, cutting the journey short. Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. From Hambantota to Matabari, China is buying safe houses. These aren't just ports, they are logistical fortresses designed to protect their fleet when the Indian Ocean turns hostile. China is trying to secure its allies to avoid encirclement. But no matter how many pearls they string together in Africa or Bangladesh, they cannot change geography. The lesson for 2026 is simple. You don't win a war by sinking the enemy's ships. You win by owning the gates they need to survive.
So when your liberal friend tells you this war is all about oil, don't just scoff it off. Oil is a strategic resource. And by having all the oil dominance, especially taking the oil dominance away from, well, our biggest enemy, China, this war is about America first. He's just thinking way, way ahead. There you go, Russ. That's the Malacca dilemma, something I've never really thought of.
But yeah, it makes sense.
It makes 100% sense. And China's worried about it clearly because they're looking at putting pipelines through Pakistan and also fortifying the Indian Ocean. So clearly they're worried about it. Maybe Trump is ahead of the game. Who knows? Maybe it's just a lucky take on it all. I don't know. First, I've never heard of it.
Yeah, we've been saying it since what? For the last 2 years almost. He's playing 4 and 5D chess, and everybody else is playing Chinese checkers. It makes perfect sense.
Well, I think his military advisors are really giving him the upper hand here, but we'll see. And the reason I brought that up, guys, is because obviously Trump is in China right now, and the libtards are losing their mind about it, saying China's really just sticking it to the Trump. But look, if they were sticking it to him, as of today, he hasn't given up on his tariffs on China. So I don't think that's even on the table. So if he starts to give up the tariffs, then I would say, okay, now China's got the upper hand here. But he's not. So there you go. And from what I understand, Boeing, the CEO of Boeing, is walking away with 200 or 300 sales. This is why he's bringing CEOs with him, right? To build the economy of the United States. Say, he's bringing CEOs just to fatten their pockets. Those are jobs for our people. You pack of knuckleheaded libtards, but they don't think of it that way.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Russ, how is the trip going?
Man, Indiana sucks balls. Ohio State gas prices can lick my balls, and other than that, it's going well. We are in southern Wisconsin. We have one more day on the road, and we will be in lovely Birchwood, Wisconsin, and I cannot wait. First fish fry of the season is tomorrow night. We're going to Red Rock on Saturday night. They're doing a breast cancer awareness fundraiser. They're going to do a meat raffle and other 50-50 drawings and stuff like that. So we'll get to see several friends from up there. So I'm looking forward to that. Might even hit the cafe on Saturday morning. Yeah, well, let me rephrase that. I'm going to hit the cafe Saturday morning.
Yeah, that's happening. The trash plate is in your future. I have a feeling.
Yes, absolutely.
But the war is still ongoing here with the county and my building. Actually, now I've got to be very vigilant and thwart any ongoing efforts from the Tortugas to infiltrate the perimeter. But I'm making good progress on that without harming or molesting in any kind of way the turtles. So in case any of the county people are watching. So now what's the holdup? The holdup is now I'm waiting for the building to leave Georgia, get here, and have it. There's probably no one left to put the building up, is what I'm thinking, Russ.
Yeah, possibly. Quite possibly. But man, I have to give you some props. The thumbnail for this week podcast was absolutely one of the best ones that you've done says and almost what we've been doing this almost 2 years now, or over 2 years.
Yeah.
And that one was fire, man. That was totally awesome. I agree with some of the comments on that. Needs to be a shirt. There needs to be a shirt made with that on there.
Yeah, but only we would get it, which is
It
cool. I
doesn't
guess
matter.
that,
And
that
see,
would be
that's just
that'd
it.
be the cool part,
The
probably.
cool part, yeah, absolutely. You know,
looks like Joey
oh,
made it in
and
the house. She's over on Facebook all by herself. She hasn't figured out how to get on Kick.
get the kick. I'll have to talk with her about that. And Christy, to answer your question, who made the banana pudding? That was Miss Rhonda, Scotty's wife. She also made Death by Chocolate and German chocolate cake, which with those three is like the trifecta for me. She made the German chocolate cake for Charlie's birthday, who he celebrated a birthday while we were down there as well at Mountain Readiness.
Joey, I'm glad you're here because I want your opinion of our president going and meeting your people over there. She's gonna kick my ass. She's gonna
damn. Hey,
she's gonna kick my ankles.
Yeah, you're in the doghouse from Melissa's birthday. I'm in the doghouse for the picture I posted yesterday. Hey,
might as well keep it going. Russ is at a campground, so he's going to be. Oh, there he's back already. But yeah, no, stay in the doghouse. You never have to go to the doghouse, right? You just.
Hey, I like sleeping on the couch.
Yeah, I agree with you, Christy. You're right. And as soon as I said that, I was like, yeah, no, who cares? Let's see. Are you starring these preps? I got it. Oh, yeah, we're both starring them. I'll let you do your job there, Russ.
Let me do my.
I'll stay out of the clicking part of it. Yeah, Kelly, the guy who made me go live when I was in my pajamas on the recliner.
That was a good time, though.
That was a good time. Don't look like we're not doing that every week, guys. So
yeah, that interferes with Red Rock. Yeah, don't expect that.
Once
you get up to Wisconsin,
once I'm in Wisconsin, there ain't nothing happening on Tuesday.
Nothing but this.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a ton of news going on. I don't want to. I didn't pull as many clips as I probably could have or should have. I didn't want this going for 2 hours. But the some of the news, of course, was Trump going to China and how that's all playing out. Didn't really get into all that. Tulsi Gabbard's house while Trump was away in China was apparently raided by the CIA, and they ended up taking some of the JFK files and the MK Ultra files. So I'm not sure what that's all about. I'm going to look into it.
Well, Teresa kind of did a dive on that. She read that this morning. That actually happened like during the shutdown. And I think it was the first or second shutdown. I'm not sure. Maybe Teresa's watching. Teresa, chime in and let us know what all it said, because she told me this while I was driving and concentrating in traffic.
Why is it just now making the news cycle?
Because they're trying to probably pull it away from something else, like they always do. You know, oh, watch this hand while this hand's sitting there and screwing you.
I think this guy, when was the Gabbard house raided?
Yes, she did, Christy. She had a nice nap. Luckily, she did wake up before I hit Indianapolis traffic, and she helped me through there. So
let's see here.
I had to give her credit for that.
Yeah, hang tight. I'm just doing a little research here. Yeah, so that's not confirmed. That's what I expected. So yeah, forget I mentioned all that. If it wasn't actually rated, it was playing massive damage control. Yeah, I don't know. Indianapolis does suck. That's why I blew a tire and ended up spending 3 days at a truck stop.
Yeah, and I will say, if you take the South Loop through Indianapolis, it wasn't terrible. There was no construction, and we only got delayed about 8 or 9 minutes due to an accident. North Loop is full of construction, and from the Ohio border to Indianapolis, the roads are horrible.
Yeah, no, not that kind of thing, Patrick. Not the thing you were doing. You were jumping trains and stuff like that. I wasn't doing that. I was, but luckily, but you know what surprised me? The roads, and we had talked about this earlier. The roads in Illinois, how nice they are for such a
They're
liberal shithole. And but
yes,
they
they're
should be.
wonderful.
The taxes they friggin' pay on gasoline and stuff like that. They
Well,
damn sure should be good.
speaking of that, because I looked up when I went down that deep dive looking at the taxes of Ohio, stuff like that. I looked at the price of cigarettes because I smoke. Illinois and Indiana have some of the highest taxes on cigarettes, but Chicago has federal tax, state tax, Cook County tax, and a city tax. One pack of Marlboros is going anywhere from $17 to $18 a pack.
It's crazy.
It's
That's
insane. I
that's
remember
why.
buying a carton for that much.
Yeah, that's why I don't. Well, you know what I do.
Oh yeah,
Let's see. Somebody had mentioned that there was an IED found at the base of a dam near Mobile, Alabama.
Diana said that. I didn't see that one.
There's authorities in Alabama say the grenade type improvised explosion device was discovered underwater at J.R. Cavers Reservoir Dam near Mobile, which is part of the area's drinking water system.
That's Mobile.
Mobile, yeah, I guess so. Divers reported finding it during a routine maintenance inspection.
Huh.
Federally protected. No injuries reported. Officials not publicly identified suspects. Yeah. Okay. That slid by me today. Thanks for bringing that up, Patrick. And let's see who else said that. All the casinos up by me are selling $25 a pack for vending. Good God.
That's insane.
Russ, there was something that made me chuckle a little bit, and it was done by the head of the EPA, Mr. Lee Zeldin. He lit up that blue-haired Congress lady during I think it was an EPA Appropriations Committee meeting. The exchange exploded online after Zeldin fired back, "You're a member of Congress. You should know the damn laws." Here's a clip, Russ. Tell me what you think from this blue-haired Canadian cuck. Canadian.
When climate change is flooding our streets, poisoning our air, driving up healthcare and disaster costs, how can the EPA justify abandoning that duty to protect Americans to appease polluters under the false flag of economic growth?
Following the law, Section 202 of the Clean Air Act, where does it say anything about fighting global climate change? Loper Bright, Supreme Court case, you familiar with it?
No, I maybe others are not, but let me ask
But
you.
that's really important. As a member of Congress, Loper Bright says that we as an agency don't have the authority to get creative. If Section 202 of the Clean Air Act
No, but you don't have, excuse me, you do not have the right to
was
say
actually
climate
answering your
change
questions.
does not exist, that it's a hoax, and that's where this administration
I
is
understand
coming
you're
from.
upset that you don't know what Loper Bright is. Do you know what the major policies doctrine is?
I'm upset because
Do you know what the
this
major
is-
policies doctrine is?
You know what, let me just
You're a
say
member
this
of
to you.
Congress. You should know.
Well, you have moved from someone who defended the environment to all of a sudden
Being very
making
defensive
a-
about not knowing the two biggest landmark Supreme Court cases of the last
and
year
you are
with
very,
regards to your
you are
question.
very defensive about changing your policy and your positions with regard to the environment. Now,
Okay.
you just
Do
tell
you want me to tell you what the two biggest
No,
Supreme
I
Court
want you to
cases
tell
are of the
me-
last few years?
This is what I want you
Michigan
to tell
versus
me.
EPA,
Whoa.
West Virginia versus EPA.
You know, you're here because you need money from us. So halt for the second and wait for the questions and answer the questions.
Well, I answered your question,
No, you
and you
didn't.
didn't like my answer because
did
you
not
don't know what
answer the
Loper Bright is,
question.
because you don't know what the major policies doctrine is,
Chairman,
because
this
you're
is- you
asking
wanna
me,
answer questions?
you're asking me about Section 202 of the Clean Air Act, and you don't read it. You don't know what it says.
Listen, and what you want to do is to deny. You want
No,
to
I actually read the law. I do my homework.
really.
You're just somebody who likes to have the microphone on. You know what I have to do? I read the law.
No,
I
Mr.
read the
Chairman, I
Supreme
don't have
Court
to listen
cases.
to this, and I would say
No,
this to
what you should do
that
for your
this-
constituents is actually
this-
read statute.
This budget is at real risk.
Read
Let
your
me tell
Supreme
you,
Court.
This is the Appropriations Committee.
Oh,
you
you're
come
not-
here.
You care
and
about
you
science?
tell
Now
us-
you're threatening to defund it?
Oh my God! No, you don't fund
Because
science.
you don't know what Loper
You
Bright
are
is.
climate
Because you don't know what the
deniers.
major policies
You are
doctrine is. Your
climate
message
deniers.
to our folks at the EPA is that you want to
I don't
defund
have
us.
to listen to this BS.
The BS. You think I made up these cases?
Yeah, I think you have made up a whole
I made
lot of
I
BS.
made up Loper Bright. I made up West Virginia versus EPA. I made up Michigan versus EPA.
She got
Woe is
owned.
right. What are you doing? Why are
Wait,
you helping
whoa.
the looters?
When are these people going to learn to back off of this? Look, these
She
guys
got
are way
owned.
smarter than the last administration. You can't do this
Hmm.
stuff. He put people in place for a reason because they're smart and they're good at their jobs. Look, purple haired lady, you are out of your league. And
Way.
Caleb,
out of the
that's your lady, isn't she? She's from Connecticut, right? I believe so.
league. She's Bernie's master child. Dang gum, Rev. You're feeling your oats tonight, brother.
That's terrible.
It's
Yeah, so
funny
I
though.
don't look, stop testing these people. It's not going to end well for you, I promise. And now
It's
look,
not.
that's viral of her looking like a complete idiot, not
Hmm.
knowing the laws she's supposedly fighting for. Well, what
Yeah.
it's typical, right? Because what they want to
Oh
do
yeah.
is dive everything into climate change. I want to
Hmm.
put money into climate change. So if you deny climate change, you're not going to get any money. If you don't take the shot, Russ, you're not going to keep your job.
Yeah.
Who's the
Exactly.
cultist? Who's the cultist? It's not the MAGA folks. It's these people.
I mean,
And who's the fascist? That's the definition
yeah,
of fascism.
exactly. I mean, you and I have been doing this thing for about 2 years now. Have we ever had a conservative, a video of a conservative losing his shit like that?
No. No.
You know why? Because it don't happen.
No.
Because it don't happen.
It reminds me of being on like Facebook and stuff when you completely annihilate a leftist and all they can respond is with a laughing emoji.
Yeah,
That's all they can,
exactly.
because they have no argument.
Yeah,
I asked somebody the other day, I go, explain to me what you liked about the Biden administration without mentioning Trump.
Yeah,
Crickets.
They couldn't do it.
Crickets.
Yeah. Well, and I saw somebody had responded something about you're supposed to be an author and you couldn't spell or something like that, and you basically said thank you for clicking and helping the algorithm. I was like, that's fucking awesome. That's absolutely awesome.
Yeah, tell them for every comment I get that spreads the algorithm to an extra 1,000 people. Thank you for spreading the word.
Absolutely, man.
their
And that's the way it is, man. It's awesome.
That's good stuff. Oh, well, that's the rant that the EPA
It is,
committee's
and
tried to go through.
it just makes you scratch your head and say, did this person procreate? It just makes you wonder.
No, that's the when I look at some of these people, this is the one time I'm looking back and say, okay, in this case, I'm for abortion. I'm for abortion. Have at it. These people should not procreate. They should not multiply. This is a mental illness. It's like I don't know. Yeah, we need to do not for ORS packages. We ain't raffling that off. I'm absconding with that. I'm taking that. It's not that's not gonna
Okay.
get raffled off. I
All
was
right,
gonna do
so
a
I
raffle with the La cooler and that, but after I saw how cool that thing was, no, keeping it.
yeah. What are we talking about here? I missed something. But then the guy was a little busy.
I don't know where he found it. Maybe it was a garage sale or something, but somehow he came across an old camp cooking set, and it reminds me of the old chuck wagon cook sets where it comes in a
Oh,
big
nice.
box, and it was really cool. So no, yeah, I'm keeping it. Joey's wants to, yeah, Joey would like to bid on Ed's package, apparently.
I think Danny might have something to say about that.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Russ. Apparently, strict gun laws don't really help.
Nope.
Because apparently here in Boston, some guy went on a little shooting spree. Authorities in Massachusetts are investigating a shooting involving a suspect armed with an AR-style rifle after multiple. He definitely. I've already had it, Melissa. So there you go. But after multiple people were reportedly targeted during the incident, a suspect was shot by law enforcement and an unarmed Marine veteran, which is kind of cool. He's now hospitalized as investigators work to determine the motive. Wonder what the motive was. The case is already drawing major attentions online, with a strict gun laws, I wonder how this could have ever happened in Massachusetts. Here's the clip, Russ.
Tonight, we are learning more about the suspect who allegedly fired dozens of rounds with an AR-style rifle on a major road near Boston yesterday. He was charged with firing at Boston police officers in 2020 and had prior criminal convictions. CBS Weekend News anchor Jerrika Duncan has the latest from Massachusetts.
This chilling video shows an armed gunman strolling down a street in Cambridge, Massachusetts Monday afternoon, randomly firing a semi-automatic weapon. Police have now identified the alleged shooter as 46-year-old Tyler Brown, who they said fired between 50 to 60 shots. At least 2 men driving in separate cars were struck. Both tonight are fighting life-threatening injuries.
I was sitting right here.
You were sitting right here. Armando Zona says he was sitting in his living room when a bullet shattered his glass patio door.
I never heard a shotgun before. I never thought it was that loud. Never thought. And I never thought it could kill somebody just sitting inside their house.
The 64-year-old says he saw the shooter seconds before the bullet pierced his door and is grateful tonight neither he or his wife were hurt. When you see that damage right now, what kind of goes through your mind?
Thankful, because something could have happened to me.
Brown was eventually shot multiple times by an officer and a retired Marine who was licensed to carry a gun. He was serving probation for assault and battery. A lot of people are questioning, how does someone like that with that record end up on Memorial Drive yesterday with a semi-automatic weapon?
I think there's several layers to that. What took place out there, creating essentially a war zone at 1:30 in the afternoon in one of our most well-traveled roads, cannot stand.
According to police, the suspect's parole officer reported Monday that Brown had made suicidal threats. Brown is currently in the hospital recovering, and he's facing up to 20 years behind bars for the current charges, which include assault with the intent to murder. Matt?
Russ, strict gun laws, do they make the public safer? What do you think?
No, they don't. Overly strict gun laws do not, because it just goes to prove that even if you are a convicted felon or a bad guy in general, you can still get a gun. We've said that for years. You know, the only thing strict gun laws do is it takes our safety out of our hands.
Yeah, so it takes safety away from law-abiding citizens. It leaves them defenseless, doesn't it? We talked about this. Same with gun-free zones, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on, guys. It's good, but the good thing is I live in the free state of Florida, and when I go other places, it's so far out of the way that everybody has a gun. Hell, you can open carry in Wisconsin, and hell, people don't even hardly know that.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Now,
it's funny because we passed open carry here in Florida, and also there's open carry up in Wisconsin. You can
and
open
in South
carry
Carolina,
as a non-resident. I haven't seen one person open carry in either one of those states yet.
South Carolina is the same way. South Carolina passed constitutional carry, open carry, and I've yet to see one. And I, for one, won't. Just personal opinion. That to me, that makes me a target. If somebody decides to come in, they see somebody with a gun, that's the first person that they're going to shoot if they have ill intent. And you notice in that video, they called it an AR rifle, AR style rifle. Looked like a 10-inch barrel to me. Wouldn't that be an short barrel pistol? SBR?
It's definitely an SBR or a short barrel pistol, banned in Massachusetts also.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't quite look. And I if I'm not mistaken, that guy had so many prior criminal has such a long criminal record that when does the revolving door stop? When does some of this onus start to fall on judges? Well, you know, if a doctor messes up on me, I can sue him for malpractice.
Mm-hmm.
So at what point do these liberal judges start facing the consequences of letting somebody out and they reoffending?
Oh, absolutely. And you know, the next story, the great segue on that, Pete. This next story that we have is a perfect example of that.
100%.
The revolving door just has to stop. I think in regards to the Boston shooter, I personally think he was going for suicide by cop. I think that's what happened. I will say, fortunately, he did not get his wish, and he'll hopefully be able to spend the next 20 years, unfortunately, at the taxpayer's expense.
Well, we'll see, right? Or he'll just claim criminal insanity and then go to some low security prison and be let out and by some liberal judge. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but this is why you stay strapped. In New York City, I will say that, speaking of revolving legal systems, a 76-year-old man is dead after being shoved down a flight of subway stairs in New York City. Investigators say the suspect had reportedly just been released from psychiatric evaluations hours before. The case is reigniting debate over violent crime, mental health, and public safety in America's biggest cities. And this, again, is the Mandami effect. I'm going to continue blaming it on him.
After the suspect from another subway attack faced a judge. Earlier today, Ramel Burke stood before a judge grinning as the judge read the charge, murder in the second degree. Prosecutors accuse him of shoving a man to his death on Thursday following Burke's release from a psychiatric hold at Bellevue Hospital. Eyewitness News reporter Anthony Carlo has the story, and he joins us from the newsroom. Anthony.
Joe, prosecutors say Ramel Burke uttered not a single word before shoving 76-year-old Ross Falzone down a flight of steps at a Chelsea subway station Thursday. Burke, as you mentioned, stood before a judge today, grinning from ear to ear as he was arraigned on one count of murder in the second degree. The 32-year-old offender has a history of unprovoked attacks. Prosecutors say he's attacked other strangers before, even police officers, and yet he was still free to roam the streets of New York City prior to committing murder. Prosecutors say Burke approached the victim from behind at the 18th Street subway station Thursday night. There was no altercation, not even a conversation, before Burke used two hands to forcibly shove Mr. Falzone down those stairs. Falzone was thrown into the air before crashing down onto his head, lying lifelessly at the bottom of the steps with a fractured spine, broken rib, and traumatic brain injury. He died early Friday morning. Burke has been arrested several times since February. He injured 3 police officers in an unprovoked assault at Duane Reade on February 2nd. He was arrested for burglary after breaking into an MTA storage room on February 14th. And on April 2nd, he allegedly kicked a man after he and his girlfriend tried to move to a different subway car. Burke requested psychiatric help following that arrest. Here's some of what Mayor Mamdani said after Burke allegedly committed Thursday's murder just hours after being let out of Bellevue. New Yorkers deserve answers. That's why I've directed New York City Health and Hospitals to conduct both an immediate investigation on what steps should have been taken to prevent this tragedy and a comprehensive review of their psychiatric evaluation and discharge protocols.
I'm not sure why they had that thing in the background against Islamophobia when they were talking about Mandami. They must have gotten that mixed up. But real comms, it brings up a good point. Remember back in the day when California had their 3-strike rules?
Mm-hmm.
If you were a criminal, you got your 3rd strike. That regardless, that was a felony, and you were spending life in jail. Let's do that for judges. Let's absolutely do that for judges.
I mean, it's ridiculous when this stuff like this happens. It happened in New York. It's happened, multiple times in New York that we know of. It happened in North Carolina, in Charlotte. It's happening everywhere, and it just drives me insane.
Yeah, and someone needs to be held accountable. And this all stems back to getting rid of insane asylums. And just to show that I'm not all Republican, look, Ronald Reagan was the first one to start defunding insane asylums. And his critics at the time even said, look, the asylum system is going to fail if you don't give it the proper amount of money. And Ronald Reagan still went ahead and defunded them. So this is on Ronald Reagan so far. Now, don't get me wrong. Other presidents went ahead with it after that, but he was the stimulus for getting rid of insane asylums in the
Yeah.
United States. And
Yeah,
it was a
and
mistake.
yep, like Patrick says, insane asylums, public executions, and I agree with the pay-per-view comment earlier, and chain gangs. Have them
Yeah.
chained together, working down the road. I mean, we see it all the time. You got the low security inmates out there picking up trash. Get some of
Yeah.
those medium security ones out there chained together and let them do it.
Yeah, I mean, we still do it in Florida, but they're probably low security because I don't really see them chained up.
No,
I think
I mean,
Alabama might still have some chain gangs,
yeah,
but
I'd have them
no.
chained up. You know,
Yeah,
they
get
wouldn't.
'em,
They
get
would
'em.
not want me in charge. You
Mhm.
know, I have a very low tolerance for stuff like that.
I agree. Good. You guys are getting your preps of the weekend. I
Yeah.
like it.
We're up to 11 now.
Let's stay in New York City for this one, guys. New York City had another anti-Israel protest, and of course, they're controversial now because Mandami is
Man, dummy.
in charge, and he's clearly a jihadist, if you ask me. But it's drawing backlash because critics accusing demonstrators of crossing the line into anti-Semitism. You think they were handing out some random person just happened to drive up with a whole bunch of pro-Palestinian flags and stuff just out of the blue. So what could have possibly been a peaceful protest quickly turned violent for us. Videos on the scene are spreading fast online and fueling heated national debate. Muslim Mandami has yet to comment on this particular incident. Oh, it's so annoying to hear the people in the background. You're hurting him. Who cares? Put a knee in the back of his neck. Let's get this over. Russ, why are so many friggin' people afraid to call out anti-Semitism when it's happened openly in the streets, on the news? Of course, mainstream media is not, with the exception of Fox, is not showing any of this, and they're certainly not calling it anti-Semitic. Why are so many people afraid or not willing to call this anti-Semitism?
I think it's because they don't want to be called be labeled a racist. It's all about being, don't want to don't want to ruffle the feathers. They don't want to be called a racist.
Yeah,
I think that's what it boils down to.
Islamophobic, right?
Oh, yeah.
They'll call you Islamophobic when you can clearly see. Look, and first of all, I hate that term. Never use that term because that insinuates you're afraid of Muslims. Not afraid of Muslims. Identifying Islam, radical Islam, as the enemy is not being afraid, and it's not Islamophobic. So let's just look.
I'm not scared of them one bit.
How about we just are well versed in history and we
Yeah.
kind of understand what happens when Muslims gain numbers in any civilized country and or city. It's biblical, for the love of God. Somebody had something to say here in chat that I wanted to talk about. I did not hear, Patrick, I didn't hear that Jeff Bezos gave $100 million toward
Doesn't surprise
projects.
me, huh?
I did hear he got a loan from the state to help try to balance the budget. So I'll look into that. What else we got?
Kelly posted, I'll pop this up. And I somewhat agree with this. I used something similar when I was in the military. Judges, one wrong release, bad judgment. Second wrong release, bad judge. Third wrong release, be judged as a criminal. The way I supervise was, hey, first time you make a mistake, okay, that's on me. I got you back. I'll cover you. Don't do it anymore. You do it again, okay, then that's on you. And that's the way it should be with judges. Okay, the first one, bad judgment. Second one, bad judge. Adios, turn in your freaking cape.
Yeah, exactly.
Freaking robe.
Patrick, this is the same type of, and I'll make fun of this here a little bit because this is a person that was probably kicking a Jew and said, "Hey, I stubbed my toe. It's the Jew's fault," right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's the logic. That's the logic behind all
And
of
he's
this.
going to sue for compensation and get it in one of the liberal cities.
Exactly. I did talk about Tulsi. There is nothing substantiated about the Tulsi thing that was actually a bit older in the news. I'm not sure why it's making the cycle now. Apparently, that happened during the shutdown, Will. So I'm not sure why it's making the chat had to clarify that for me. Now, MTG, I will talk about because I don't have it pulled up, but apparently, once her congressional pension kicked in, Russ, you know what she did? She moved to Costa Rica and bought a $5 million house. Yeah, so America first, right? I'm going to take that pension and spend it all in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
The true definition of a rhino.
And she's running for office in South Carolina again.
Yeah, that's not going to happen because I think now I think she sold her properties in the States. So clearly, if she moves to South Carolina,
well, and you notice, and you can tell me if I'm wrong because I honestly did not look at the news all this week because I've been driving. Has gerrymandering just kind of gone away?
Well, the problem is it's not going their way.
Well, we know that.
So it's not. So look, SCOTUS has ruled, and the biggest ruling out of that SCOTUS. Well, first of all, Virginia Supreme Court ruled. They knocked it down. And the most important thing we talked about last week was that SCOTUS ruling on the racially biased gerrymandering. So it's a done deal. It's done. I'll be surprised if. Well, I'm not gonna put that bad karma out there, but I would suspect we're not going to see a Democratic majority for quite some time.
I think the deal with not MTG, the other one, my brain's fried. Gabby is they're grasping at straws to throw something else into the news because there's absolutely nothing going the Democrats' way. So they're trying to throw something at the wall to find out something that sticks, and it's not sticking. The
governor of MS puked out today.
But back in the late 80s, early 90s, we had the Teflon Don. And we have a Teflon president right now, I think, because everything they're trying to throw at him is just don't stick, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I saw a thing on the Book of Faces today that said, look, you tried to bankrupt a man. You tried to claim that he was a pedophile. You tried to get him divorced. You tried to say you raped a girl. You sued him. You tried to kill him 4 times. He's running. He is acting like a president right now that does not give a shit. It doesn't. He's going through his agenda and keep throwing it at him. And when he said Teflon Don, right? Everybody loved him back then.
He was a superstar.
Oh, Whoopi Goldberg loved him.
Oh yeah.
Don King, Jesse Jackson, they all loved him.
He got an award from the NCAACP for heaven's sake.
I know, it's so crazy.
I mean, what changed?
You know what changed? He's part of the system.
Yeah, that's right. He bucked the system.
Oh, interesting stuff. But what I found more interesting was during the Iranian war, Russ, and I was wondering when this was going to come out in the news, because apparently the United Arab Emirates, at one point during that missile barrage at them for no apparent reason, decided to tell the Iranians, F you, we're sending in our boys to do some work. Not only the United Arab Emirates, but it was told today on the news that Saudi Arabia was also involved. Here's the clip.
During the Israeli-US war on Iran, UAE emerged as one of Tehran's top targets in the Gulf. Iran rained missiles and drones on
I know I'm pulling a lot of Indian clips, but it's just funny to me. I just get a I just giggle at it. It's just funny
yeah.
because it's either I listen to them here or I listen to them when they're calling my spam. Carry on.
Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and American bases in the country. But now a new report says that the UAE hit back by secretly carrying out attacks on Iran. According to a report in the Wall Street Journal, UAE retaliated by carrying out strikes on Iran, including an attack on refinery on Iran's Lawan Island. The attack had sparked a large fire and dealt a severe blow to the refinery's capacity. The report says the attack took place in early April, around the time when US President Trump was declaring a ceasefire. The report says that Washington had quietly welcomed UAE's participation in the war. At that time, Iran had called the strikes an enemy attack and launched drones and missiles against UAE and Kuwait in response. UAE was Iran's top target during the war, with Tehran striking it with over 2,800 missiles and drones, higher than any other country, including Israel.
$2,800 missiles and drones combined for their neighbor. Their Muslim neighbor, by the way.
Yeah, but Iran was targeting a lot of American infrastructure over there, a lot of the bases that are over in the UAE, and they obviously hit some targets that the UAE didn't want them. Were kind of upset, and they said, "You know what? FAFO. I have no issue with that."
Yeah, I don't either, and I'm surprised now. The Iwarnians, I call them the Iwarnians now. I don't even call them the Iranians because they've warned so many times. They're warning the United Arab Emirates that if they keep drawing closer to Israel, then there are going to be serious repercussions for us. There's going to be some serious, like
absolutely.
what? They're gonna launch another drone or missile at them. Well, what are the serious? You people are inept. But with that being said, on the news cycle today, they did say that the decimated Iranian Navy happened to bomb another tanker and seize another one. Now, I don't know where they were flagged out of, whose tankers they are or anything, but so it's not over, folks. It's not over.
No, not over at all.
Patrick 7, they are working in the House to strike down federal gas taxes. I'm interested to see that vote and how that goes along party lines, because the Democrats have already said they need the American people to suffer to make Donald Trump look bad.
Absolutely. Well, and here's the deal, and I posted it yesterday on Facebook. Ohio, for example, the federal tax on diesel was 24 cents a gallon. The state tax on diesel was 49 cents a gallon. It's the states, and there were several comments in there talking about the states, and this is something that Ohio does, and somebody posted that all states need to do it, and I don't disagree. Ohio makes it is a mandatory requirement for them to post that sticker on all gas pumps that shows how much is the tax is, whether it's federal, state, otherwise. And I think that's a great idea because, number one, it shows that it's not just the federal government that is taxing us; it's the state government.
Yep, it's it's a state as well. DeSantis has tried to push down getting rid of state sales tax on gas also. But you look at, like you said, I think the federal tax is minuscule compared to what the states are. It's a good question. As Americans, what's your opinion on the UAE, its history, and the government's ideology system? Of course, I do not agree with their government's ideology nor their system, right? But let's distinguish the difference between the UAE and Iranians, right? That's a huge difference in the way they govern each other. So I would say, do we 100% trust the UAE? I don't. I honestly don't. They're not they got princes and kings and all that good shit. Something we got away from a long time ago. But I will refer back to the Iraq-Iranian war, when the enemy of your enemy is your friend, right? So they're a needed necessity. At least the UAE is putting stuff back into their country from their oil revenue, right? They're making their country better. They're putting money back into the infrastructure and taking care of their people, unlike the Iranian people or not the Iranian people, the Iranian government, who exterminated 47,000 of their protesters prior to the war, or during the ceasefire, and are still killing their people as we
Yeah,
speak. So I hope
absolutely.
that answered your question, Wild Man. I'm not 100% of a fan of theirs, but are they a needed asset in that region? Yeah, and I do like the fact that they're breaking the mold from the Arab nations, getting out of their "we hate Israel" type of things, where they're willing to at least work with Israel within the
Yeah,
region. So
and he
hopefully that
followed.
answered your question.
Yeah, he followed up, and I don't know a lot about the UAE, but I do know that they have been a big supporter, probably due to funds that we have given them. But we've been allowed to have bases over there for the last 20, 25 years or better, allowing us a good footprint over there in that region to help protect, that region.
Yeah, I don't. I'm trying to. My question is, what do you know about them in general? I know that
He said you answered the question.
okay, cool. Yeah, so that's what I know. That's my feeling about them. That's the kind of the way I know them. And what I like about them, in contrast to Iran, is how they govern their people. Now, look, they're still Arab. They still have some pretty weird laws, but nowhere near as extreme as the theological government that is in Iran. So
Yeah.
there we go. Why did we run through all the news already, Russ?
We did, man. We're on a roll tonight.
Fast hour.
Come on, guys, get those preps in. Only 14 preps in, and we got 44 people watching. Come on, guys. The math don't math. I mean, I know I only got a South Carolina public education, but the math don't math.
Samway said he rode a camel in Dubai.
Mhm.
Well, go ahead.
No, I was like, been there, done that. I was in another country, but I did that as well. He must have been ported. He was at port there, probably.
Well, baby girl, when she went to Egypt on a mission trip,
yeah,
she went through and through the desert on four-wheelers with the preacher of our church, and she said she had a blast. Now, I'm not sure if I have a picture of her on a camel or not. I may have to look into that. Was that your? That's not nice to call her a camel.
Right.
Not nice,
So,
Patrick.
That's going to get her on the air in a minute just so she can call Patrick gay. So, but I did. I think I mentioned that last week. I did call Patrick gay just for Tiny.
For old time's sakes, since he was missing Tiny Tooch.
Yeah.
All right, guys, you know what time it is. It's time for this week's prep of the week. Russ, I'll start it off. My prep of the week, of course, every Wednesday we do we train, which we didn't get much done yesterday because we had thunderstorms here in Florida, which, by the way, I should say is an indicator that I should already be gone, by the way. Jason says he got some pickleball rackets for exercise and kicking ass. Well, hopefully you're better at pickleball than you are at shooting and running, because you look
wow.
You look like Corky Thatcher doing both of those things. And guys, the young people out here that don't know who Corky Thatcher is, just Google it. You'll be fine. Russ, what was your prep of the week, bub?
Well, aside from just hanging out with some awesome folks at CanCon, I did finally shoot this year. Tremendous can. It made a 300 blackout. All you heard was the firing pin and this hit ringing the steel. It was actually pretty damn impressive. But so this is Teresa and mine prep of the weeks, because I bought her this for Mother's Day and got away with it. Having said that, I bought the Mantis training system for the Glock 19. This is a completely inert weapon. YouTube, completely inert, nothing in the magazine. It does not function. It is plastic. It is a toy, but it will allow us to do some better training when we can't go outside and train, or when we're on the road, that sort of thing. That's our biggest prep of the week. I gave it to her for Mother's Day, and she was absolutely ecstatic about it. So a win for me.
That is definitely a good system. I bought Melissa an ironing board. And it didn't
Boy,
go
you're
over
really
well.
trying to get in the doghouse.
Didn't go over too well. Russ, go ahead, do the first prep of the week.
All
Other than
right,
Jason.
I'm going to the pinned comments if you'll keep an eye on the other ones.
Gotcha.
Prep of the week. Patrick Seven says he spent about 3 hours in the Army surplus store in Flint, found some gems, put together a few new chest rigs, and got a few cheap Chinese chest rigs, plus picked up some M203 grenade bandoliers to put all those flashbangs in. They fit like a glove.
Nice.
So at Mountain Readiness, there was someone selling those. So they actually raffled one off, and we had to make sure that it didn't go to Carl or Sue. So because we knew that, well, actually, I think Sue did win it, and we had to ensure that we made Emery, who as we know is Sue's keeper. We made sure Emery did not allow him to use it while we were there.
Well, exactly. And thank God Mel didn't get one.
Oh God, yes.
Let's see what it's a long comment. Go ahead and hit the next one. I'm going to read this comment.
All right.
Diana says making sure truck is ready for a trip for Northern Cali. Absolutely. That's a gimme. Go ahead, Russ, with the next one. I'm reading Wildman's comment here.
All
Let's see
right.
if I can.
Yeah, Kelly says his prep, he installed dash cams in his new truck and Jeep. Wolfbox cameras are the bomb. Kelly, if you would, send me the information on that. Teresa and I were having that conversation as we drove today. So that's something that we want to put on ours. Considering I cussed out 17 people yesterday, but only 2 today in Illinois. I was actually below par. Here you go, Pete. Here's the next one for you.
Yeah, let's hold that one real quick. Let's put this up real quick, Russ.
Okay, go ahead and put that
Go
up.
back. Yep, let me pop this. Exactly that, and why they act in such a way is because they need protection from America. That's talking about the EAU again,
Mm-hmm.
because they don't want people going to fight for them. Imagine that. Not in any of the countries in the Gulf. So why Iran's people are still fighting if they have the worst system? Well, remember, the hardliners are still fighting. The hardliners are still fighting. The protesters took to the streets for a very long time, but it's hard, Bud, when you don't have any weapons and 47,000 of you get slaughtered. That's a tough system. That's a tough system to fight against for the common person. Now, remember, we had talked about, I don't know how long you've been watching the podcast, but we had talked about the time frame. There are people alive today that still remember how the country was prior to 1979, right? The old timers knew how great the Persian people, how great the Iranian country was. Hell, that was a vacation spot for a lot of even Americans until the revolution came. So those people are still alive. And remember, the problem is the younger people now have always lived under that system, have always been oppressed. The people that are fighting right now against us and other nations are the hardliners, the people that are in power, the people that don't want to lose that power because they're getting rich, because Obama is used to send them pallets of money, and they still reap the benefits of the oil trade to China, or it did until we shut down the Gulf. Okay, back to prep of the week.
All right, you got this one. It's from Miss Terry.
Miss Terry said, put up cattle panels in the garden for the green beans to run and started water catchment system. Perfect.
Awesome. Miss Julie and Roy, one of the 2 she put one of the 2 new raised beds put together, loaded bananas running in the freeze dryer. Dooley is finally back home from the trailer break and engine code issues. Thank you, Charlie, for helping Roy. So,
tribe helping the tribe. I love that.
Absolutely.
Jason says he put up some new bunkers and trying to. I'm not even going to read that because, well, your wife doesn't watch. So here's what Jason's trying to do. We'll dime him out. We're going to dime Jason out. So his wife, if your wife happens to see this, you're screwed. He wants to buy this thermal device, but he is so whipped by his wife that he can't just say, woman, I need this. I'm buying this. What he wants to do is he wants me to buy it so I get in trouble when she sees the Amazon thing come through. but obviously he's going to pay me back. So what I could say to you is your prep for next week, Jason, better be putting some pants on and running that gosh darn family. There you go. Carry on.
Damn. Damn.
Here's the next one from Rev. You got it.
All right. Let's see here. Rev, he got some batteries for Mama's red dot.
Is she
Absolutely.
Rev, is she shooting that thing? Is she becoming proficient with it, hopefully? Pissed off arborist said he took his wife to a car cruise. Got to get the buy on the project. 700 Nova for the apocalypse.
He's got a Nova. He wants to drop 700 in. He wants to push it up 700 horsepower. I saw a picture of the car. Wow. I mean, I'm an old school muscle car guy. I love those old muscle cars. If I won one in a raffle, I'd have it. I'd never go buy one because it just hurts to get in and out of with my knees anymore. But
Russ, I'm an Italian guy, so my dream car right now is I'm getting older. I'm hitting that midlife crisis. I want that T-top IROC Z28, right?
Oh yeah.
Damn, I need to get that before I start
Yeah, I
pushing
mean a
up
Nova, Chevelle Super Sport, something like that. Primo.
Nope. I need that Z28. It's my heritage. Go ahead, Russ. You got this one.
All right. And Charlie, man, put up 40 pounds of chicken, 60 pounds of ribeyes, and freeze-dried strawberries. So what he's saying is he put up 40 pounds of chicken. He took out a home equity loan and bought 60 pounds of ribeye, and then he freeze-dried some strawberries because beef ain't cheap, bro.
No, and it's funny you say that because as I was watching the news today before the podcast, one of the Trump agreements with China was that they would buy some of our beef. And I was like, what? Look, at the cost of our beef right now, we're giving some, we're selling it. No, that's not right.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Only if it brings the price of our beef down.
I don't see how it could. Demand is just going to go through the roof, and supply is going to be going to shitter. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
it's good for our cattle producers, but it's not good for the American people. Let's see what I got here. Will says got weighted plastic pistol and a knife to shadow box combatives, practice fight, draw, and knife skills. Very cool.
Good one.
You can go against the baby girl with your knife skills. She and her and my Marine brother used to fight all the time. I got this one. You read it.
All right. Miss Julie. Also, several of our local folks, along with Roy and I, attended a post-disaster simulation. The event put some really good food for thought. Julie, if you or Roy could maybe type up something about that, man, I'd be interested in reading that. It sounds interesting. And Pete, I know you've been involved in them before. Mass casualty accidents where, like, I was on the moulage area, whereas you guys were doing the response and stuff like that. That is really good training that you can get when you do scenarios like that. And I'd be very curious to see what they did with that.
Yeah, and fun fact, every MCI I did in training went horribly. And you know where the biggest failure was for the most part? It wasn't with the first responders, Russ. It was with the receiving units at the hospital. Terrible.
Yeah, because they, even, and they know about that. They know it's coming, and they still can't deal with it.
They can't. They're not prepared for it. It's usually the trauma centers are typically the worst, and it all boils down to communication. Like you're talking, they know it's coming. A lot of times they don't even tell their employees that's coming because I don't know if they want it to be a surprise or they're just too stupid. But the failure point for most of those MCIs is the receiving units. So yeah, rest assured that you're just going to be fine. Tom Brace, you all right, Russ? Hey, Joey, Russ needs a hind lick maneuver. Tom Brace says he did some drone training and
he's out. He is out there.
One.
Yeah, he's out. Yeah, Tom, you'd never take just one. Yeah. He is out there with Byron Russell with Black Armor Guns and is doing drone training this weekend.
Very cool.
He is practicing for his imminent eventual retirement, and we've been doing the best we can to keep him on the road with us. So
Tom, definitely get a drone, because here's my mission for you, because you're going to be about, I'd say, a quarter to a half mile away from me when you're in Wisconsin. So here's what we'll do. We're going to do a test. I want you to take that drone, fly it over to the writing shack, and as a like targeting test, I want you to drop a bottle of double to me and see if simulating a bomb drop.
no, because I accidentally spilled a glass of double while we were up in Wisconsin. Tom went out and bought some of those wooden glasses like you got from Dan, and I picked it up like this, and it slipped out of my hand as I was setting it down. I was so upset. So we are not going to be dropping it. We will drop an empty bottle of double, so it's only glass. We will not waste the interior.
No, we won't. No, first of all, I have hands like Randy Moss. You don't have to worry about that.
Okay, at least you said it was
At
least you said it was somebody other than a Miami Dolphin.
Well,
So.
yeah, well, because I didn't want to go back to Mark Clayton and Mark Duper and all that.
Well, White Shoes
Randy
Johnson
Moss.
or somebody like that.
Yeah. Russ, you got bullshites.
All right. Don says he acquired some more medical supplies. Always a good thing.
Very cool. Nick Meacher says he wrote some more articles. Outstanding. Keep writing. Battle Gnome. Russ,
Battle Gnome says he had a new roof put on the house. Question mark. Okay. So
it is a prep.
Did you have a new roof on, or you're not sure whether or not you had a new roof on? And
well, he can't see that high, Russ.
Oh my God. Okay. Fish barrel. Okay, but Corey, I do want you to send that footage that you showed me at Mountain Readiness. I want you to send that footage to Pete, and I'll tell Pete what it is offline.
Sounds good.
You got the guy.
Yeah, look, he. I got nothing for you there. I'm gonna. I'm just gonna assume it was real first aid.
Mouth resuscitation, maybe.
Yeah. All right then. Let's see what Realcom says. Go ahead.
Realcom says is he the only one that has finished his preps?
You never finished.
You go, boy.
You never finished. I like it. Let's go back to regular chat here.
Yeah, let's see if we missed anything. Wow. Good Lord.
Yeah, you're right, Will. Will says, sorry guys, now I'm catching up with chat now. Yeah, they did stop identifying. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Will, they did stop identifying Antifa since they've been designated a terrorist organization. Weird, right? Because a lot of their funding, well, hell, you know where their funding came from, so that doesn't surprise me.
Okay, let's see here. Sam said, Charlie said he got at some chef place. I already lost it, but he got a $9.99 pound for the ribeyes at the U.S. Chef store.
Good. I like this conversation with Wild Sam. Doesn't make sense to me what we were talking about earlier. Sorry, guys. I know I'm going back and forth, but I love conversations like this. In Libya, the men controlled, besides the American, took down Gaddafi. Correct. They did. After they were heavily armed, they took down Gaddafi. The problem is the Iranian people don't have the arms, bud. So that's why it's failing in Iran. Now, they let it slip out a couple of weeks ago, if you remember, where we tried to funnel arms up through the Kurds. And those son of bitches, who I like the Kurds, they ended up keeping the arms, right? They never funneled it to the Iranian people, to the factions that might have been willing to fight. So I don't know. Maybe that distinguishes the difference there a little bit, bud.
I don't know.
We got another prep of the week, 7. Part 2, building panels to use for a modular shoot house. That's cool. I'm assuming you're going to do that with like an airsoft or something like that, because that's something I want to do in the garage when I come back from Wisconsin. Under 2 stipulations there, if I ever get the garage built and I ever get to go to Wisconsin.
Yeah. So speaking of that, I had a very good conversation with Byron while we were up there. We're under this big canopy, same big canopy that we were under last year. You know, that's what I think it's 60 by 90 or something like that. And he looked it up. The price on it is $80K for this canopy, but you could put, you know, walls in it to be able to use it for CQB training, you know, with airsoft stuff like that. And then on the weekends that you're not using it, you can rent it out to a wedding for $20K. It paid for itself in 5 weddings.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, but I couldn't believe that thing was $80K. But I know Patrick Dietrich is not listening, but him and his folks at Recoil put on a great event. Several people asked about you, man. Several people were saying, well, where's that Robertucci guy? You know,
They probably wanted to beat me up.
Actually,
I was probably, it was probably a good thing I didn't go, because I'm sure the liberals were they knew I was going to be there for the most part. Probably could have had a hit
you
on
know,
me.
we did not see any of remember last year we saw that one group of folks that were running around with the bandanas over their face and everything, and we're like, yeah, that's the left guys. We didn't see that. It was actually a really well kept event.
Yeah. What country are you from, Wild Sam? And maybe it would help me understand your perspective a little bit on this comment. But I appreciate you tuning in from outside the country. That's kind of
Yeah,
cool.
that's actually pretty cool. Yeah.
Let's see. Going through chat, guys. I'm assuming Tom says he's not allowed to retire.
Yeah.
Someone's asking about the texture of my hands.
Yeah,
Patrick,
I
of course.
don't even want to know. He's also asking for a turtle helmet, and I don't know if that's akin to
I'll
toss
give you
salad or what.
Patrick, next time I see you, I'll give you a Roman helmet.
Ooh.
You know what that is. Battle gnome.
He might want to toss salad. You never know. So that was a mountain readiness running conversation, and it was quite funny.
Guys, I know I just like this conversation. It's kind of good. Can you tell me why Trump would go to China after years of economic competition and opening a full American market to them? And now China is talking about taking over Taiwan. You know that means politically. Yes, I do know what that means. And U.S. should stay at where they were. But let me decipher through that. Yeah, I'm not for China. Look, that's going to be a sticking point. And even during the summit, guys, there were strong words from China saying that this may end up in a conflict. I'm not for China taking over Taiwan, regardless of the historical background. It's all said and done. We need to stand up for our allies. We have not done that in the past. This needs to be the spot where we do stand up for them. Let's be honest, though. If China decided to take over Taiwan, it would be done in less than a half a day. It would be done. There's no way they would stop them. It's just there's not enough water there to stop them. So why did he go to China? He went to China to try to open up their market to U.S. companies, thus bringing the CEOs as a show of force and to open up their country to U.S. products. It's working a little bit. Do we trust China? Absolutely not. Is China the enemy of the United States? 100%. But here's the deal. If the USA goes away, China's economy is shit, right? If China goes away, we don't have the manufacturing as it stands today to do anything for ourselves, unfortunately. Will that ever change? Not with the type of political system that we have, because in 2 years, a libtard could become the president and they could have control of the House, and all these policies would go back that Trump's trying to enact right now. So that, in my opinion, Wild Sam, is why he went to China. But make no mistake about it, the Chinese are our enemy. There's no mistake about it. Yes, please keep Roy in your thoughts and prayers. His hernia repair surgery is on Monday. Oh, that man's a stud. There ain't nothing to worry about there.
Yep. And Mama Gnome tossed in another prep of the week. Put that up on the screen. She says, Battle Gnome mentioned it up in the chat, but forgot to label it. She has taken the Girl Scout troop rough camping this weekend. No running water or bathrooms, rope work, fire building, and lashing, etc. Outstanding.
Perfect. Wild man, you are not being offensive at all. I mean, don't get me wrong. I am a blue-blooded American that I bleed this shit. But if you have a differing opinion, I'm not gonna slam you for it. I
Absolutely
mean,
not.
unless you're an absolute complete TDS liberal retard, I'm gonna bust chops about it. Also, I do get a little sensitive about the Israel thing, but I have other reasons for that I don't need to share with you right now. But no, you're not being offensive, I promise. If you were, I just blocked the shit out of you. It ain't no big deal to me. Here's another prep of the week here. From let's see what this is. Mama, you already read that one? Mama
Yep, that's what I just read.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
What else we got?
And I will say this, and I said it last week, but I'll put it up on the screen. Several people asked where you were at Mountain Readiness, and they wanted to buy books, and everybody said it wasn't the same without Melissa there, and you as well. Then they had fireball shots in your honor. I can attest to that because there were little mini fireball bottles all over the place the next morning.
Wild man, you said that the Taiwan thing's a big issue for you. What country are you from? Did I miss that? If you don't want to say, just say I can't say. That's no big deal. I'm just running through.
Thank you, Charlie.
I like the conversation with this guy.
Absolutely. Charlie has sent me an after action report on that post disaster simulation, and I'll share that with you, Pete.
Okay. I'm reading some more chat here. So
yeah, I'm trying to get down there.
Sorry, I just brought up China because
the Girls Scout troop, not Girl Scouts. My bad. And you're reading, and Griff is. I'm going to keep going. For those of you that didn't see it, Sue jumped in to CanCon. Sue was not the one with the flag. Sue was the other one doing loop-de-loops with a smoke grenade on his ankle. But Sue wasn't the one with the flag. But it was a good, clean jump. We were a little worried for a minute or two because he took his time pulling his chute. But it was a good, clean jump.
Yep. But I share your concerns with Taiwan. I promise you, I really do. Now, how we go about that ideology from a ideological standpoint, we may differ a little bit, but I do share your concerns with Taiwan. I promise with Taiwan. I promise you that. Okay, so he can't say where he's from. I respect that. Just having conversations and no judgment either which way. And actually, China said they would like to help with negotiations with Iran. Please.
Well, yeah, that's because, like Patrick just said, China needs Iran to stop needs the Iran stuff to stop more than we do.
100%. They need it. Look, I don't know what you guys know about the Chinese economy, but I know Weatherman has talked about it a lot. Chinese economy isn't what we think it is. Now,
No.
they're having a lot of difficulties. That's not common knowledge. But Chinese economy is now they have a hell of a military machine. But we also thought that Iraq had a great military machine. Iran had a great military machine. We thought that Russia had a great military machine until a little country is holding them at bay, minus the chance that they might just nuke them someday. But
Yeah.
I always judge you with my eyes, Patrick, and
That's
it's
'cause you
not
can't-
really judgment. It's more of a lustful thinking type of thing. So,
All right,
if
now you're going
taking
to get
that-
Kelly upset with you.
All right. Well, Kelly's my Tuesday man. Patrick is my Wednesday man.
All right.
That's not judgment. All right, Russ, I'm going to leave it with you, bud. What do you have to bring us out?
Wow. As always, folks, it's all about our community. It showed. I had a great time the last couple of weeks hanging with everybody up here in Wisconsin now. Going to hang with my Wisconsin peeps here for about 6 months. Hopefully, I'll see some of you guys over at Mountain Readiness West in Montana. I know there's a least 3 or 4 of us couples that are going to be heading that way. It's going to be a great time. Get your training in, folks, as best you can. Use a simulator. Use one of these. It's the same thing. It works. It will help. It actually shows you what you're doing wrong. It was fairly inexpensive. Other than that, Pete, hope to see you in Wisconsin soon, brother.
Appreciate you, Russ. Let's hit this one real quick before I give you my closing word to that. But they're holding on to their capability to end the world. Thus, they are helping Iran material. Yeah, and according to those people, the news, right? They said that China has agreed to not supply the Iranians with any more arms and or intelligence. Do I believe that? Absolutely not. They're still going to. And we all know why China needs Iran, right? They need Iran for the oil, especially since what the United States did in Venezuela. The two places the two places that China got the oil from. Not only did they get the oil from those places, they got the oil from those places on the black market, which means it was much cheaper. So cool conversation. Tune in next week, brother, and we'll keep on the conversations with. I like it. You're very articulate, and I dig it. But guys, you know how we always do this. Keep prepped, keep safe. You can't be safe. Fuck it. Be dangerous. Thanks for watching the Eden Army podcast. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And remember, be safe. Can't be safe. Be dangerous.